Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video, yes guys, it's been some time. You know, I haven't posted a video on this channel for quite a while, but in reality, I haven't really had to. I don't know how this YouTube algorithm works, but a few of my videos that I made a few years ago blown up, especially the one that I made about Billy Carson. I have been inundated, emailed, inboxed, and I've had tons of messages coming from tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists telling me that Billy Carson is speaking the truth and that the pyramids were not constructed by Africans. No, they were constructed by aliens. Guys, you know what I am like when it comes to conspiracy theorists. I don't believe in them. All right, I just don't. I'm a factualist. I'm a realist. I'm a very pragmatic person. I need to see proof. I'm not just going to believe in something wholeheartedly until I have some tangible evidence, which is going to make today's video pretty surprising for some of you, because the goings on in today's story, it can only be explained by using conspiracy theorists. You know, a lot of the guys that watch my video, you're African American, you live in America, you're an African American, you will have this sixth sense, like a spidey sense. It's like, you know, some BS is going to happen before it happens. This is the same way I feel when I talk about this story. Last week on my second channel, I made a video about a brilliant up-and-coming African woman whose life was tragically cut very, very short by the freakiest of accidents. And I called it an accident, and I made the entire video completely innocently, thinking, okay, yeah, well, it had to be an accident. It had to be an accident, didn't it? It had to be. But then I looked at the aftermath. I looked at everything that happened afterwards and thought, oh, this is kind of strange. It was almost too clean cut. What do I mean by that? Well, guys, just sit back, relax. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and click the bell notification if you can. And please go on to the channel, I am going to put a link in the description to the video that I made last week. If you want more in-depth coverage of that story, you can go watch the video and you can come back here. If not, I'm going to give you a rundown right now. So it's almost 2.5 years now, coming up to 3 years since the beginning of the pandemic. Can you believe that? I remember being in China when it started, in China, and that was December of 2019. There was so much things that went on during that period. So this story kind of got snowed under. The story is about a brilliant, beautiful, intelligent, articulate African woman by the name of Esther NAKAJJIGO. Esther NAKAJJIGO was a 25-year-old woman from Uganda. Everything that she touched turned to gold. When she only just turned 17, she went on to build a clinic specifically designed for women with young children and who were pregnant, to give them access to healthcare. She was 17. I can remember what I was doing at 17, and I wasn't building no clinics. I'll tell you that. Healthcare in Africa can be prohibitively expensive. So she created this non-profit, okay, and gave women access to life-saving medicine. She went on to form other NGOs and managed to get funding from the United Nations, and eventually became an ambassador to the UN. She's only 25, for heaven's sakes. Remember this. She has accomplished so much in her young life that if just one of those things we accomplished, us mere mortals would have seen one of those achievements as a life-defining achievement. So Esther NAKAJJIGO went to America. She had to live in America in order to get this funding. She met a man by the name of LUDOVIC, MICHUAD, a French national who was living in the United States at this time. She fell madly in love with this guy, and within months of first meeting him, she was engaged and got married. And it was a whirlwind affair, and they seemed to be very happy with one another. So they were outdoorsy people. They were living in Utah. They had all of these beautiful national parks around them. So during the end of the pandemic, when the restrictions were being lessened and people were being given back their freedom, they figured, in order to celebrate the fact that they were going to have this freedom, that they were going to be able to go outside, breathe the fresh air like they're used to, because they've been cooped up inside for the last 7-8 months because of these restrictions. They went out and they said, we're going to go to Arches National Park. Arches National Park is a park in Utah. It is very beautiful and it sees a lot of tourists. Now, it just happened to coincide with the 1-year anniversary of these two meetings. So you got to remember this now. They'd only known each other for 12 months. They were married, but they'd only known each other for 12 months and they were married for some 7 months before this incident. So upon finishing their hike, they were leaving the national park. They were driving in their car. A gate, an entrance gate that was unsecured, opened. A sudden freak gust of wind blew the entrance gate into the ongoing path of the car that Esther and Michaud was driving in.
In June, the newlyweds took a trip from Colorado to Arches National Park. Upon leaving, an unsecured metal gate swung into their lane of traffic.
The end of the gate impaled the car like a lance and literally headed his newlywed bride right in front of him.
911, what is your emergency? Hi, we need an ambulance immediately to Arches National Park. There was just a car accident and a woman is, her head is on the ground.
The fence impaled the car. It went straight through the windscreen. It cut through the car and it almost hit Mr. Michaud, but it tragically deleted Esther NAKAJJIGO in the most horrible of ways. It literally severed this from this. It was horrible, and that was that. It went into court. So the Michaud family and the NAKAJJIGO family sued the park separately because of this incident. The NAKAJJIGO family was asking the park for $30 million in damages, and the Michaud family was asking, yeah, you're gonna have to put your hats on for this one, $270 million. So $270 million. So that's where we are at now. We have one deleted, beautiful African princess, and we have a European man who is looking to capitalize on what has happened to her. Now, the reason I made that video the other day was because there was a settlement. The settlement has not been made public. However, it has been rumored that the Michaud family has collected way into the 9 digits. We're talking in between 150 to 250 million dollars. That's a lot of money. Now, we don't know how much the NAKAJJIGO family got, but we know initially they were offered $4.5 million. The lawyers for the NAKAJJIGO family clearly turned that down. They have been estimated to have received somewhere in the region of $20 million. Now, believe me, for a family from Uganda, $20 million is, well, they've made it into the 1%, haven't they? They're in the top 1% of earners on this planet straight away. Are they going to be unhappy with that? They're going to be unhappy that they don't have their brilliant daughter, but now that they've got $20 million, who knows? The NAKAJJIGO family and the Michaud family have both openly expressed their want to continue to build and grow Esther NAKAJJIGO's legacy. Okay, so there you go. It's a tragic accident and they've been paid a ton of money. So where are we going with this? It's like I said at the beginning, I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but there are a few questions that need to be asked, and I'm going to ask a few of them right now. You have Esther NAKAJJIGO, and she was touted as being the next Princess Diana. How did Princess Diana get deleted? Okay, right. That is a conspiracy theory. There you go. Right, there is one. It's a bit of a coincidence, don't you think, really, that she was seen as being the new Diana and she was deleted also in a car accident, a freak car accident. We can look past that one. We will look past that one for now. Now, this part is where the spidey sense started tingling in my mind. I was just like, what? Witnessing a horrible accident like that, which has traumatized Michaud for the rest of his life, and he now struggles to drive in cars. He now struggles, he cannot be a passenger in a vehicle. He is struggling to lead a normal life. He had to leave the United States of America. He's now living back with his parents in France. We know that this event was life-changing for him. But $250 million, really? $250 million. Okay, I understand. I understand if you were doing something which was worth $250 million, okay? But you weren't the one that was prominent. It was Esther. Esther was the one that was prominent. Esther was the one that was deleted. So why are you getting $250 million? Why isn't the NAKAJJIGO family getting $250 million? It's so super weird. And let me tell you something else. When the lawyers were approached, the lawyers for the national park who were at fault, when they received this request for the $270 million and for the $30 million, for the $270 million from the MICHUAD family and for the $30 million from the NAKAJJIGO family, they looked at the amount that the MICHUAD family was asking for and they were saying, oh well, okay, it's one of those things. But when they looked at the $30 million that the NAKAJJIGO family was asking for, they moaned about it. They complained about it. That's a bit much, is it not? $30 million? How can they do this? This is disgusting. How dare they? I mean, I could easily say the R word, right? I could say that. It had something to do with her background or something to do with her being a BW. Maybe it had something to do with that. We don't know. We can only speculate. She went out in the worst way. The worst way. You can't imagine something like that happening to your child. So I think that 30 million was not even enough. But apparently it was too much for these lawyers, for the lawyers for the national park. And they said, well, you know, Esther was young, she was brilliant, she was talented, but we didn't know, you know, we can only speculate on whether she was going to make it big in the world. So it's like, well, you can speculate, but there was a very, very good chance because there was nothing there stopping her. So it's just another thing where I'm thinking, well, what's going on here? What's going on? Is this American justice, the typical American justice we hear about here in Europe so often, the one that's actually laughable? Is that the justice we see going on at this moment? Possibly. Once again, I'm only speculating. I watched an interview. This interview was taken a few months ago by LUDOVIC MICHUAD, and I want you to just take a look at him for yourself.
The goal of that TV reality show was that the candidate would do initiatives to help women, and I really wanted to show her.
You see him? Yeah, for me, this guy, he doesn't look distraught. I mean, it was only 2 years ago. You know, I'd be in bits still if this was my partner. I would be in bits if I saw something like this and it wasn't my partner. I would still be struggling with it and I would struggle to give interviews. But this guy, he looks so charismatic. He looks so in control. I think he has 250 million reasons to remain calm. Now he's going to make enough money so that him, his potential new partner, his parents, his siblings, his children will never have to work a day in their life, ever. They will go to the best schools. They will have the life of privilege living in Paris as rich people. They were rich Europeans anyway, but now they have been embellished with even more money because of the deletion of this brilliant African woman. It just does not seem fair to me. It doesn't seem fair. There's something going on. And this is why I'm asking myself, I'm like, he's come out of it pretty smart, hasn't he? Really, he's come out of it pretty nicely. We have this accident, a woman that he barely knew. He barely knew this woman. He knew her for 12 months altogether. She's gone and he gets to live the life of kings now. He gets to buy himself a yacht and sail around the Mediterranean for the rest of his life, happily knowing in the knowledge that him, his family, his children and everybody else will never need to have financial hardships in their lifetimes. For me, it's just too clean cut. Like, there you go. I can't explain it, which is the reason why I called it conspiracy theory, because I can't explain it, but it just seems too good to be true for LUDOVIC MICHUAD. Another thing is this, the way they met. They met on a dating platform. Now, you would have thought that a woman like Esther NAKAJJIGO, a prominent young woman, a beautiful, prominent, young, professional woman, you would have thought that she would have gone on to perhaps one of these dating apps that were specifically designed for people of prominence, people who have money, people who have made it in life. But no, she met Mr. MICHUAD on Tinder. What the hell is she doing on Tinder? What the hell is Esther NAKAJJIGO doing on Tinder? For me, this is totally unexplainable. I just don't understand why a woman of prominence would need to go onto a tacky app that I would never use even if I was single. You just see the pattern of things happening, which is just a series of very good coincidences for the MICHUAD family and very bad coincidences, which ends up the deletion of the daughter of the parents of Esther NAKAJJIGO. It looks like both of these families are going to be happy with whatever they get paid. Okay, they're going to get tens in LUDOVIC's case, he's going to get hundreds of millions of dollars. And the family for Esther will get tens of millions of dollars. It will help a lot of people, don't get me wrong. But I can only stand here and say to myself, we now need to take a look at the MICHUAD family and see what they do. Let's see how they act. Let's see if they are able to, you know, carry this mantle that this brilliant African woman was carrying for the whole of Africa. She is a woman that personified what a black woman is. Brilliant, articulate, beautiful, and we lost her under the strangest of circumstances. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm just making up BS, or do you think I'm onto something? Do you think that Ludovic and his family will end up spending that money helping other young African women? Or do you think that he will soon forget about her, get married, have children, buy a beautiful house in the center of Paris and live his life as if Esther didn't exist? Do you think that the family of Esther NAKAJJIGO, do you think that they will do the same? We know how people can be sometimes when they get given lots of money, okay? Do you think the family of Esther NAKAJJIGO will follow through and end up embellishing their daughter's already brilliant legacy? Let me know in the comment section. It'd be really good to hear your opinion on this. And I really hope that the spirit of Esther lives on in these people and they end up doing the right thing. Ta-ra a bit.